most people don't even know what they're fearing in life insurance. They don't even know why they're not making their first out. They're just scared to death. But they don't know what
unknown
aspect of it is scary. It's actually not scary. They're just humans on the other side. But having fear is actually a good thing, and there's nobody in this business that doesn't have fear or didn't start with a large amount of fear. And finding out what that fear is, it brings clarity. It gives you a very simple game plan that if you no longer want this fear, these are the things that you need to work on.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Life Insurance Academy podcast. It's Zach and I today. We're hanging out. We're just two guys having a conversation about life insurance sales.
That's it.
Just keeping it simple.
Keeping it real. We're keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Matter of fact, who needs notes?
Not
Who
you.
needs no? Just a second. Let me see. Who needs notes?
You said it correctly.
That's right. Today, we want to talk about what is it that holds agents back from profitability and success? What is it? What is the thing that holds?
Chris, that
back?
question is so open-ended.
It is. It's a big one.
If I didn't have notes that you provided me ahead of the time,
Yeah.
then I could have said a number of things here.
Like a Ford F-150 and some bungee cords.
Yes, but there could be some other issues there with Ford fix or repair daily.
And
Right.
yeah, and they don't sponsor us, and they never will. No, but we're talking about fear and how it affects agents.
Whatever answer the listeners were thinking about, it all will boil down to some level of fear.
Do tell.
Well,
what do you mean by that?
If you're saying, it's skill set, if it's belief, if it's
What say you?
Yeah, whatever pops in your mind of the thing that holds agents back more than anything. You may think of the most apparent thing or the thing, the last excuse you maybe gave your upline or whatever you're personally struggling with. But if we peel off some layers of that and go just a little bit deeper, we'll realize that it's really could be procrastination. It could be poor planning. It could be whatever the case may be. But we're doing those things because of fear of failure, fear of trying really hard and not being as successful as we wanted.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people move into the space and do it afraid. First of all, kudos to you, to the people who move forward afraid. I'm super proud of people who are willing to make adjustments in their life, and they identify themselves as entrepreneurs, and they're going to build their own business, and they're going to step out in faith. I know that world because I did it afraid.
Isn't that bravery?
Yeah, that's doing something when you're afraid is being brave.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's really cool. I remember going back to many years ago, but pulling up to my first home.
Yeah.
And kind of sitting there, and it kind of doesn't look like anybody's home. Maybe I should pull away. I can't remember if I did or not, but I might have pulled away. And then I said, what am I doing? Why am I afraid? What's the worst that can happen? I didn't come all the way out here to not do that. By the way, it was like 3.5 hours away from home. It was, obviously I paid gas money, time,
Leads.
hotel room, leads, all kinds of stuff to be able to get there to have this opportunity, and turned back around, went and knocked on the door. But it's the same thing when we find ourselves finding reasons or excuses to not start our day on the time we should or that we plan to. The reason why we have to do so much admin work and check our email before we make our first dial.
Yeah.
It is that fear that really, really holds us back.
You talked about the door knocking aspect of it. I remember that well. Hands sweaty, mom spaghetti, my favorite line. Doing it afraid, knocking on the door or knocking quietly. Like I would knock this loud, like, please don't answer, please don't answer.
Right.
Even though logically you have made all this investment to move forward. The thing I like that you said, Zach, is that you did it afraid anyway. And that is such a big part of this, that you're able to continue stepping into that and taking action and moving to the next piece of this.
Fear is temporary, right? It's the unknown. We don't understand. We don't know, because even if we fear something, or we die, or whatever we do, we face that fear. We realize then what we need to work on to then not have that fear anymore.
And you said, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge game I would play, and you play it out, right?
I play that every day in life.
Right.
Everything.
You do. You're always like, that's a skill set, actually, beginning with the end in mind and looking at some of the challenges that we could be facing. But that idea, like, what's the worst? Somebody says no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't get a sale, right?
I take my pre-licensing test and fail it the first 4 times.
Right.
What's the worst that can happen on the 5th?
Yeah. Right. What's the worst? You get into some financial trouble and you have to get 2 jobs. Like, now that might be it. Maybe that's the one that somebody's like, whoa, like, they're starting to freak out a little bit. But you have to get to a place where you realize.
Or maybe what they realize is they're not as good as they thought they were.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
Well, there's a lot of things. There's ego. There's pride. There's that type that it's hard to start or engage in something unless they know all the answers, unless they know they'll be the best. They don't want to compete or try and not be the best.
I see. So a perfectionist.
A perfectionist, if you will. Yeah.
So a perfectionist may be facing fear, so they never actually do the action. Otherwise,
they're only going to do it if they're the best that's ever done it, or they won't do it at all.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, can you relate to that? Throw it in the chat. Maybe you can relate to it, or you don't know what he's talking about, one or the other.
Yeah.
But I do think there are people who do struggle. I've seen this in our boot camps, who feel like the script has to be perfect before they take action. But unfortunately, the same people, they don't practice the script.
No.
They don't do the work, the homework.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone, but I see that frequently.
It's very interesting, because when you look at fear, you have to have fear to have clarity. Like, because most people fear the unknown. Most people don't even know what they're fearing in life insurance. They don't even know why they're not making their first out. They're just scared to death. But they don't know
it's an
what
unknown
aspect of it is scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not scary. They're just humans on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes, your tone might not be right. Your pacing might not be right. Maybe you're very insecure and you're continuously trying to qualify them or ask them for questions, right? Or maybe you're have so much fear, you're almost shocked that they're moving forward and you're trying to talk them out of the cell.
Yes.
But having fear is actually a good thing, and there's nobody in this business that doesn't have fear or didn't start with a large amount of fear. But that fear and finding out what that fear is, it brings clarity. It gives you a very simple game plan that if you no longer want this fear, these are the things that you need to work on.
Yeah.
Which then it overcomes with confidence and belief.
Are you ready to launch your insurance career? Excel Solutions is your go-to leader in life, accident, and health insurance pre-license training. Their cutting-edge e-learning platform is packed with rich content. Think interactive assessments, engaging videos, and customized learning paths, all tailored to your learning style. Being students ourselves, we've trusted Excel now for years to deliver top-notch training, offering high pass rates. Their streamlined prep review courses and the exam simulator are really your secret weapons to nailing the state exam the very first time. Now, you thought it couldn't get any better. Well, it just did. Life Insurance Academy listeners, you receive an epic 50% discount reducing the regular course fee from $199 to only $99. So, all you have to do is use partner code LIA at liapodcast.org/excel. Now, Excel spells XCEL. So don't think about it any longer. Dive headfirst into your insurance career with Excel Solutions Premier Pre-License Training with that exclusive 50% discount just for you. Get the code, get licensed, and excel in your insurance career.
So let's talk about that a little bit. The things that you have to work on. One is, we could say it this way: fear. The cure to fear is action. I believe that big time. The cure to fear is action. Just showing up and doing the work. And I think it's easier to identify. I think if you can identify it, it helps. Really, it comes down to two things. You said insecurity, but one is the rejection aspect of it. Like, do you fear being rejected? And if that's the thing, if we can come to the terms that most of the time we're going to be rejected, then if you're afraid of it and you're trying to avoid it, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. If you can come in and say, I'm going to be rejected 70% of the time and I'm winning with that number.
But this isn't unique to life insurance. You can put it to anything. Thomas Edison, like, how many times did he fail at the light bulb?
Yeah.
Right? Kobe, anybody. Jordan, how many times did they miss a game-winning shot? A heck of a lot more than they hit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? LeBron, how many finals did you fumble? Right?
Yeah.
But we're not remembered. We're not remembered for the people that hang up on us.
Yeah.
We're not remembered for the apps that we don't get. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we're celebrated. Our family is provided for the apps that we do and the families that we are able to serve. It's
Correct.
the shots we make.
So if we can identify and understand that we're going to be rejected most of the time, if we can identify and understand that this is an investment and we're putting money into a machine and money will come out, but sometimes it won't. Sometimes it won't, especially during the learning curve at the beginning of this process.
That makes me think of a movie.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
Me, Myself, and Irene.
I only remember parts of it.
He has the
of it.
split personalities, and he's trying to control himself because he doesn't have his medications, and he went out to get a Coke from the vending machine, and they said he controlled himself, and Irene was very proud of him, and then the next morning they come out, and the Coke machine's ripped to shreds, and there's Cokes everywhere, right? Which is very funny. But I want to walk through this, Chris, because you did provide a great outline of this this idea of fear. And if you're unsure, if you are fearful, because a lot of times people have fear holding them back, but they don't really know that it's fear holding them back.
Correct.
And it can show up in their sales process. It can show up in their presentation. It can show in their interactions with their client and their ability to close. So I want to walk through a couple of these, and I just want you to kind of just tell me what you feel about them.
Okay.
Right? So we have the overexplainer.
Yes.
What fear is that?
Loss of control. I believe it would be loss of control. They're afraid of gaps in the conversation, asking a question and letting the client provide context. So they're just, if they can provide as more overload with information that they're in control and it's going to lead to a sale.
So they're educating and deciding for the client all in one.
Correct.
And if you're not sure if this is you or not, this is where you're talking probably 90% or more of the presentation or of the phone call. You're the one talking. You're the one educating them. You're the one telling them that they need this. You're the one that telling them they agree with this. And you are
You're
just
telling them that they agree with. You are correct.
I'm dead
I've heard
serious.
that before. Yes.
Yeah. And then surprisingly, because I've listened to some of these calls at our boot camps, we get to the end and you feel this unwavering confidence that, oh yeah, they've been with me this whole time, but they've barely said any words the whole time. And we're almost thinking for them because we're so worried that they're not going to want to buy on their own. So we need to help them buy in that sense.
That the over explaining, the fear of control isn't filled with knowledge and content. It's filled with questions. That's how you get control. The person who's asking the questions is the one in control.
Yeah.
And that's a shift that happens when you can hold on to the presentation and the sale loosely. It's a big shift that happens.
Very well said. Very well said. And you have on here the price apologizer. Tell me about that one.
Yes. We refer to it as the insecure salesman when you're getting.
You got to do it in the voice, though.
So Zach, I just want to ask you a couple questions about your affordability. Like the voice, your voice is going up in that. So it sounds like you're asking permission or apologizing when you're
It sounds like you have a slight shake and your fingers are crossed the entire time.
Can we talk about this? Are you comfortable? That is happening. I hear that happen. And the that fear of approaching money.
Yeah.
At all. And understanding, here's the thing. People make money. The people we're speaking to receive usually Social Security. They receive some type of pension. And anybody who's talking to them about any benefit that they're doing, they're talking to them about how much they make.
It almost
and
makes
how much
me,
they can afford.
Yeah.
And trying to fit inside of a budget. I mean, they're used to it. And if we don't, it's weird.
Yeah. It's almost like this typically comes out, obviously, when we don't have a presence or a control, right? And we're piggybacking our confidence on the client. And what I mean by that is if they think it's too much, oh, then it's way too much. Then we're trying to find a price so low that it's going to make the client happy. Instead of building that value ahead of time, and if it becomes a pain point, being able to go back in, build more value, but fight for the need, for the cause and what it will do to their family, rather than just keep lowering the price.
See,
lowering the price.
I think you're saying something that's important.
Well, thank you, Chris.
For new agents, you heard Zach say that. Rewind it, listen to it. Rewind it and listen to it, because I think a lot of new agents aren't there.
No,
they aren't there, and they're just like going through, trying to get to this point, and they might have even felt like it went really well on the first part of this, but then they get to that part, and it's like they got to the pool, and they were walking on the bottom of the pool, and then it got to the deep end, and then they took another step, and it was like they're freaking out. You can see it happen.
It's almost like once we get to the end of the presentation, it's as if we lock in the face amount, and then the client is just negotiating the price. The face amount stays the same, but let's see how low we can get this price.
Yeah.
But the reality is it doesn't work that way. If the price is lowered, the benefit is lowered. But the need of the family is not lowered. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
And I always say we have to be the advocate for that beneficiary. We have to be the one that sees and believes those gaps of vulnerability and how this policy will actually benefit their family. And we have to kind of fight for that. If you don't really want to fight for that, you need to do a heck of a job building value prior to that.
Correct.
So they're fighting for that. But that's what we're anchoring to. We're not, I never worry about the price.
So if this is news to you, that is something you have to practice, working towards understanding the value versus the relationship of value and money and price.
Yes.
You have to work to understanding that so that comes naturally. It will. And this is the one thing I want you to understand in this podcast. What you're experiencing now is not what you will experience tomorrow. You keep showing up, you make the adjustments, you learn, and you're a little farther ahead, and then you start to sound like this on the other side of it.
If you're unsure if this is you or not, right? If you fear that you're listening to this and you might be the price apologizer. If your closing technique is keep lowering the price to find something affordable, then that's probably you.
You
Right?
might be afraid.
That's right.
That's what's his face? You might be a redneck. Yeah, it's
It's
not important. We'll cut that out. Of the podcast.
Here's your sign guy, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's him.
That's his. I think
him.
it's his
Jeff
Foxworthy.
Yeah, you might be afraid.
Let's talk about the fast talker.
This is a lot. And I there's a close relationship. They're cousins, the fast talker and the over talker. They're cousins. But fast, I think, especially if you're working in the market with seniors of final expense, the older you get, the slower you are. Your life has slowed down. Your thinking has slowed down. And when you're nervous, you naturally talk faster.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens. You've lost all cadence. You've lost all fluctuation in your voice. You've lost all pausing. And it's like a train running through their living room.
Yeah.
And there's uncertainty that's created as a result of it. And you didn't even realize it.
Fast is anxious. It is unsettling. It is hard to clarify. And looking at the other side is slow, calm, cool, collective, confident. If you imagine that in your brain, you see somebody that you could trust with the bank account, the social security number, trusting their advice for what benefit will protect their family, which company to actually place you with to ensure that you're getting everything you need. That if they're going to be trading a large percentage, it might be a small premium, a large percentage of that market, that your client's monthly income for a plan, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we're just giving them a promise and a piece of paper. And they're trading their money for that, which is very alarming to think about if you're not doing that. And one thing that is very different, and I learned that even from being on the podcast, if you listen to some of the early ones, I would talk much faster. But I don't realize that I'm talking faster. I don't feel that I'm talking faster. There's some adrenaline that comes along with your nerves.
Yeah.
It's no different.
That's a good point.
It's no different than an athlete playing in a big game. Everything's amped up a little bit more. If you're
and that's why we have wrestling matches before the podcast.
Right.
Now. I try to pin him down. Sorry.
He keeps trying. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But quarterbacks
slippery.
can overthrow the receivers, right?
Yeah.
These jitters, right? It's no different than an agent going to a home, sitting with a family. You're going to have that. It's no different than starting your day, and you may be 3 years in, starting your day, and you have that first, that's
how you start most of the time. It really
you have that
feels
first
that way.
sit to be able to get those jitters out and being able to really get rolling, right? And that will naturally speed you up. So even when you feel that you're not fast, just go slower.
Listen to your call.
Yeah.
And ask yourself, could I slow down? Practice slowing down.
You know, that is still surprising to me.
The people don't listen to their calls.
It's unbelievable. There's so many people I talk to, and they'll even send me their call to listen to. I listen to their call and I say, have you listened to your call? And they're like, no, I just sent it to you. Well, you tell me what you think. Well, it sounds like I'm going really fast. Yeah. It didn't feel like I was going that fast initially. I was like, of course it doesn't, right? It's just you have that adrenaline. You're in the moment. You're in the game. We have to prepare for that, right?
And, you know, that speed thing, this is my perspective from being empathetic to the market, senior market, is I'd imagine that they probably feel like they're being pushed into something when you're going fast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You associate that with, I'm going to sneak something by you.
Yes.
Here's the fine print.
Yeah.
You know, it's those nice commercials on TV about this new medicine and the families blowing dandelions and doing all this stuff in the yard together. And then the last 5 seconds of the commercial, it's like, this can kill you in 15 different ways. You know,
it's
that's
fast.
what it almost feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talk to me about the script robot.
I can relate to this a little bit. This is when I said back in the day I had the presentation, and I would have people ride with me, and they would say, Chris, you sound completely different than you do in real life. And I was like, I'm selling. I'm the salesman. I know what I'm doing. I had to get in professional mode, and I did. Like, it wasn't me, and I had to learn I had to find my voice in this, and, you know, to the point where I would just go into somebody's house and lay on their couch and say it's been a long day, joking with the pendulum swung hard the other direction.
It did. I've seen both.
You've seen both. It can almost act as a safety, something we're holding on to that's preventing us from moving forward. It's we're handcuffed to it, and that's not what sells. The script.
You're so fearful of being yourself and being comfortable and not saying the magic words that sell every application that it turned you into that robot to where you're so glued to these railroad tracks that it's probably going to end up being a disaster.
Yeah, you sound like AI or scripted, and you won't.
AI is getting good.
It is getting good, and you won't to yourself until you again listen to your call. And I promise you, if you listen to it, asking the question, "Would I buy from myself?" will do you a lot of good.
Yeah. Does your presentation sound the same as you hanging out on the couch with me and Chris and just talking to us through your script?
Yeah. It's we say it's structure for the conversation. It can't be a crutch to you from being yourself.
Absolutely. And the last one I want to talk about here is the avoider.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Thank you, Adam. The avoider. I remember I mentioned this several times recently. We did a podcast with Susan Scott. You can find it. I don't know what episode it is, but
it's early, probably in the 30s.
Yeah, I thought it was a video, but it wasn't a video.
Oh,
actually,
no, it definitely wasn't a video.
And it was on Fierce Conversations. She talks about it in terms of there's 100% to a conversation. There's a difficult portion of it that's 20%. Most people live in the 80. They have 80% conversations. They'll allude to the hard part, but they never say the hard things.
I think that makes it harder.
Alluding to the hard part, but not saying the hard things?
I feel like the easiest thing to do in my sales experience is to just go right for it, and does it bother me? Don't care. The more you avoid it, and the more you have the fear, it makes it so awkward.
It makes it big.
It makes it massive. Like, I'm not only asking for your Social Security number, I'm asking for every retirement count, your third grandson, all your cars. Like, it's like, holy smokes. Yeah. Like when I hear agents continuously just avoid it and beat around the bush and have this weird, awkward silence followed by this much elevated, fearful question of, can you get your checkbook? Or, and it just freaks people out. Yeah. I get nervous listening to it.
Even at the stakes.
Oh my.
Even at the stakes questions, there's a fear. I've had agents say, are you afraid to ask those questions? And I used to be afraid to ask those questions.
Yes.
But somebody has to be uncomfortable for it to work. You will go hungry if you don't.
Chris, that's not any of our listeners, right? None of us are uncomfortable asking those questions. But some agents maybe, but not any of our people, right?
Right, correct.
But if there was going to be somebody, what would be a good way for them to practice asking those questions or get more comfortable?
The awareness that you cannot have a sales conversation without it. So going forward, committing to understanding that. So that means some of those questions. What would it look like if, God forbid, if you were to pass, what would it look like when Mary's in the funeral home making decisions?
Yeah.
And they're going to ask for a check. What would that look like? That may be tough for an agent to ask, but that's an important question.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Okay.
What if I combine a couple of these fears? Okay.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm the avoider. I need to ask you some of these hard questions in the stake, but I'm also the fast talker.
Oh, man, that's a barn burner, right? Yeah, and that typically is the case because I'm willing to ask that question. I'll accept the first answer, but the power in the stakes conversation is how things slow down and the silence and the pauses to answer questions, and even after a question is answered.
This part right here, Chris, is so important because I read the script. I use the LIA script. I ask the right questions. I listen to all your podcasts. And just, sometimes it's not sinking in. That connection's not made and I'm not able to close the sale. And it possibly could be that just because we ask the questions, we can still be an avoider of the answer.
Correct.
Of the right answer.
And the avoider of the uncomfortable emotion.
But what if, maybe I don't talk fast, but what if I'm the avoider and I'm trying to ask that question, but I'm reading it right off the script. I'm the robotic script guy.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's another issue. It will sound inauthentic, insincere. You aren't going to get an honest question or an honest answer to the question. It will be something along the lines of not good. And then you're going to go to the next question and read it instead of asking a follow-up question. Can you tell me more about that?
What is it any different if you're the apologizer and the avoider?
Now you're confusing me.
I'm so sorry to ask you this. I really do not want to ask you this, but
that's right. And you know what, Zach? That's a really good point. They probably manifest in different ways, in different combinations. And really, we just wanted to do, like
I hear that all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like I've overheard quite a bit of the apologizer agent, if you will, and they apologize so much, and there's nothing truly to apologize for that it seems so disingenuous.
Well, and on top of it, it becomes you didn't even realize you lost trust. You didn't even know that was happening. You thought you were being polite, but they're expecting somebody who knows what they're doing, who does this all the time, and they're like, "You're apologizing for that? That's weird."
Yeah.
So then it becomes an issue. You created an issue in your fear.
Yeah.
Your fear created an issue. So
obviously this has been a big theme. There's all these different symptoms. I'm not fearful. I make $200 a day, right? But if you have identified with one of these or maybe multiple of these.
I feel like it's like putting your hand up to check to see if you have a fever. If you have any of these symptoms, pay attention.
Absolutely.
Make an adjustment.
But it's a good thing because the first thing we need to do is identify where these fears are coming from so that we know exactly what to do to address those so they become, a area of strength and confidence for us.
That's good. Very good. If you would like to know more, guys, we have courses. We've got coaching that happens every Thursday morning. Roger did a session just this morning. So if you are interested in that, you can go to lifeinsuranceacademy.org and you can sign up. And we would love for you to be a part of the Life Insurance Academy family. I do want to commend you. If you are in the battle, you taste blood in your mouth. You smell like smoke and fire.
Tell them, Chris.
I'm proud of you. And we want to know who you are. So please throw comments in there. If you got questions, maybe you have a story you want to share, you can throw it in the comments. But if you guys want to know more, you can reach out to us. We thank you, and we will see you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast.